Hail and well met. Welcome to the pre-show hangout. This is our last session with Stefan Marmion, playing Adrian Corvetto. So for now, that doesn't mean he won't come back. But I hear a little birdie having told me, and that birdie's name is Stefan Marmion, that you are getting back together with one of your old gaming groups and starting up a new game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I've had my my gaming group. We've been getting together for like 12 years, and then like consistently for like a week, for like every week, and then COVID happened, and obviously we haven't. And we tried doing our sessions online for a couple months, but there's something about it's like Roll20 is great, and the fact that we can do this at all, this sort of virtual thing, fantastic. But there was something missing from it, and my group just sort of hasn't played in months. And so we're all vaccinated by the end of this month, and then we're doing our 2-week waiting period, and we're getting back together for the first time in over a year in person, and I'm so excited. And I'm not even sure what game we're going to play yet. We've got all sorts of options. We have a couple of campaigns on the back burner that we've been wanting to continue. So I'm not even sure we're going to play yet, but I'm super excited.
Wait. You say a couple of campaigns. Is that 2 campaigns or is that 6 campaigns?
What's your vernacular here?
Yeah.
I think there's 4 games that we're sort of in the middle of, but we got I've been playing with these people forever, and so they have sometimes we'll be playing a Star Wars campaign or a Forbidden Lands game, and we'll have been doing it for years, and somebody will just be like, man, I want to try something different, and then we'll try a different game, and then we'll start a new story with that, and then in a few months we'll go back to our Star Wars game or our Pathfinder game or whatever.
Nice.
It's very rare that we actually finish a story. We just sort of keep doing it forever and then start new stories.
Yeah, that's how you play TTRPGs, like how I play video game RPGs. I play until I'm done, and then I switch to another one, and then I come back years later to be like, what is the ending, you know?
Mm-hmm.
See how close I can get.
But this is kind of a funny story. Because I noticed the transition from when we were all in college to when we all became adults, that suddenly not everybody could always meet every single week, and it's very difficult getting 6 adults together in the real world. And so I have a personal policy that I'll never end a session on a cliffhanger, because if I do, it guarantees that at least 1 or 2 people who are integral to that scene aren't going to be there next week. So I don't do that. And then but the last session we did right before lockdown happened, it's this whole grand space opera game that we've been doing, and my players are sort of like the governors of their planet, and they ended up getting to this other world that they were trying to recruit to their side in a war. And I had a split-second idea partway through the ball that they were having on this planet, and the enemy invaded them and busted in the middle of the night. And it was midnight real life, and I was like, all right, we're gonna cut it there with them busting through the walls, and next time we're just gonna pick up in the middle of combat. And then lockdown happened the very next day.
Oh, so what you're saying is you caused lockdown to happen by taunting the universe?
Exactly.
Thanks a lot, Stefan. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
so we have
thanks.
Now late May, I have to open up on that cliffhanger after the last shutdown. No one even remembers the stakes anymore, I'm sure.
It'll be like being woken in the middle of the night by assassins that suddenly appear. So
yeah.
For you.
Stefan, are you playing Pathfinder 2?
We've played Pathfinder 2. We actually started a Pathfinder 2 game specifically during lockdown over Roll20, which went really well. And especially utilizing Roll20 for a D20 game was really, really nice, and being able to just roll digitally and utilize the grids. And we did a 6-month Pathfinder 2 game in lockdown. It was really fun. So it's a good system. It's
you like it?
It's not knocking D&D at all, but Pathfinder knows exactly what it is, and that's a super crunchy tactical combat game. And there's nothing there's nothing fluffy around it. There's nothing like well, maybe this rule can be interpreted this way. It's like, no, everything has keywords and everything is very clearly defined and everything does exactly what it says. And that's kind of refreshing because there's never any discussion about like, well, is this a charm effect? I don't know. Which is nice.
Bodily reaction that Rhiannon.
Who, me?
It does have like some pretty neat character customization options too. Like they break down feats into like racial ones as well as like your class ones.
Yeah, and it's it's filthy with feats. They're everywhere, which is kind of nice because everybody's character is super different at that point.
Yeah,
I do get the feeling sometimes with 5e that once you've played a class, you kind of, if you want something new, you kind of have to move on to the next class. It's not like you can really customize that much. Although it's getting
what?
No.
As much as 4E was a downturn for Dungeons and Dragons, I kind of think they threw the baby out with the bathwater with 5th edition. There were a few good aspects of 4th edition that I wish they had carried over.
Starting with the fiction.
Right there.
Yeah.
You give yourself inspiration,
Hot
man.
takes.
I have
There
it
it
from
is.
last time, but I appreciate it.
But yeah, it's because 4E was not the best, but there were a few cool things in there that I miss.
Well, they sort of kept healing surges in a
weird
sense.
way.
Yeah.
And it just feels, I don't know, it feels archaic almost.
Well, they had to change the name because people hated the concept of healing surges.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So have you guys, just switching a bit here, I have a student who was telling me that in Magic the Gathering, the latest edition is kind of Harry Potter-esque, like 5 schools of you know.
With all the serial numbers filed off.
Yeah. It's
It
called
seems kinda
Strixhaven.
Cool. I want to play that.
Note that he said Harry Potter-esque.
Mhm.
Okay, that's an important legal distinction.
Yeah, it sounds fun to me.
Harold Potter.
Yeah, it's got one of the best sets of like just art and lore, and it's just like dripping with flavor.
That's good to hear. I've missed that in recent Magic sets.
Yeah, it has also one of the first, I believe it's one of the first Asian American male planeswalkers.
Oh, cool.
Who is like the adopted son prodigy student of the headmaster.
Awesome.
Which would be
A lot to unpack there.
Harry. Is his name Hari or something like that?
I believe his name is Killen.
Killen.
That would have been our second guess.
Yeah.
Killen, or yeah.
Star Chaser says, "Happy birthday, Rogar." Or I guess Roger, but he means Rogar, I bet.
Roger. Yes.
Probably not
thank you.
It is Randy's birthday, so
Happy birthday, Randy.
happy birthday to Randy.
How many
We can
candles you
all-
blowing out?
21.
That's a nice way of.
I can finally drink. Woohoo! And I can legally get a unicorn hunting license now. So I'm super excited.
I thought you were doing anniversaries of 25. You were at one point.
25. Okay, 25.
That's what at some point I might switch to. It's like, oh yeah, it's my 35th birthday. That's the second anniversary of my 35th birthday.
Yeah, let other people do the math.
I think
Yeah.
Randy is aging on the dwarven scale, which means he's like, the
There we
human
go.
equivalent of like 20 at this
A
point.
child until he's 50.
Beyond 50. Just like a child until he's 80. Okay.
How old do dwarves get in Forgotten Realms?
About 450 or something like that, I think.
God.
They can live a long time.
On
Not quite
average.
as long lived as elves, but up there.
Nobody is ever.
Nope.
I
On
feel
the
like the
opposite.
first time they're like, we have a new race. They live longer than elves. There's just gonna be like a huge mutiny, huge protest.
Everyone's just like,
Absolutely.
Unacceptable. Elves are the prettiest and the longest lived. Official. No changing.
Never. I'm gonna.
I
make
mean,
the-
pretty if you don't need a beard, I suppose. But
I'm gonna make a quick stop into the kitchen. I'll be right back.
Well, that was it for Stefan on this month's episode.
All right. Goodbye to Stefan.
So I had a dream last night that Brandon Sanderson was like the head of this like spy corps that was after me and my friends. He disabled my cell phone, and then I was like lost in this old hotel trying to find like the cell phone. And so like I woke up and I was like, Brandon Sanderson? I haven't even met him.
I've met him, and yeah, it could happen.
Yeah?
Like, he would be very organized about hunting you down.
Right. He would have a very specific set of rules as to how his spy network functioned.
Nope.
Have you tweeted Brandon today? Because maybe he also dreamt of you.
Oh.
And you turned into a werewolf, and then you were chasing him?
No, it wasn't that spec-fic a dream. My dreams are very sometimes very spec-fic, but sometimes a little bit more. Like I don't know. Right now, I'm doing a lot of the like spy, like old hotels as a recurring theme.
I was talking with some friends the other day about the recent Mortal Kombat movie, which is awful, but it's awful in the way the games are awful. So if
it seems like it's awful in the way that like you knew that going in. It is what it says on the box.
You knew what you were getting into.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
It's worse.
No,
so much worse.
The thing is, it can't be worse. Anyway, I was talking to my friends about it, and then the next evening, I had a dream where I was basically a character in a Mortal Kombat game, but it was one of those like PS2 Tekken inspired Mortal Kombat games with like the real distortion and like the people are, just a bunch of polymers. And like Molina kept beating me up because all I could figure out how to do was just high punch. That was it.
Too bad the only movie
Your
didn't have was
goes over a lot of people's heads.
That's true.
Exactly.
I was never allowed to play those games.
Yes, we're talking about Mortal Kombat the movie.
So, I mean, the first one was I loved the first one that came out back in the day. Had great music.
Pause.
It was
the first
basically
one that came out 26 years ago.
Sure.
Holy cow.
And it was basically really? Enter the Dragon with magic. It had a decent, you didn't need a lot of plot, right? This one that just came out, they could have like made like so much, like expanded on that, and made something super cool with all the effects and stuff today. Instead, it's just riddled with just constantly like, this is a rule, but now we're going to do the opposite of that rule. And then we don't care about that rule. And here's a different rule, but we don't care about that rule. And we're going to break that rule. And then this is not the rule, but that's the rule. But no, that's not the rule. It's like,
you're just like, you, like holding all that in your head seems like
I have a theory, Randy.
Holy
my God.
The original Mortal Kombat.
It's funny.
I
have a theory.
No,
Wait, the movie is 26 years old?
Yeah,
I thought you meant the
Mortal
game.
Kombat movie came out in 95, which is 26 years ago.
Right.
Oh, I wasn't born then. Neither was Randy.
Neither was I.
Brief second,
I'm just going to point out.
Oh my God, I'm so much older than you. And then I realized you were full.
I was born from that movie. The epic music swelled and I came forth from the...
So here's my theory, Randy.
Okay, lay it on me.
Just going to be an observation of indisputable fact. You are a lot smarter and more perceptive than you were 26 years ago. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying objectively, and I hear the whole, it's just a Mortal Kombat movie. It's a video game. It's a punchy fight. I got that, Shay. I understand all that, and I respect all that, and I still love the Mortal Kombat movie from 26 years ago, and that was a punchy fighting movie. This movie was horrendous. So it was just it offended me. Like, I'm going to make a reaction video. That's how much. This
You're
movie,
gonna do it in the Rogar accent because you really should.
Probably not, but oh my God,
boring after the first like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like That's why they released that first
Really?
7 minutes of the Hanzo fight scene. Like they released that as a preview because that's pretty much the only good part of the movie. After that, it just rapidly goes.
It's not boring the way Sucker Punch is boring. Okay. Like,
Well, for very similar reasons, because Sucker Punch didn't have a really strong through thread. It was just a bunch of like
didn't
cool
really
visual
have
stuff
anything
thrown together.
Okay. But the point is,
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat movie is awful.
I'm obviously feeling very
awful,
passionate about it,
But
I'm
it's
so
awful in
offended
an
by it.
entertaining way.
I do have a
No.
question for those of you who watch more movies than me, because I never watch as many movies as I need to keep up with the cultural zeitgeist. But what is the best video game based movie?
Oh,
Because there are a lot of bad ones, but of that, what's the good one? What's the best?
Probably the
one?
1995 Mortal
Yes.
Kombat movie.
That was
no, there was something that came out really recently that was really good. What was it?
Not Monster Hunter,
I forgot about that.
as you should.
Which video game movies are not the best video game movie?
I will say
You
what
need
was
to get
Super
those out of your
Hunter?
system looking
What
for
was-
the good one. Go ahead.
Assassin's Creed,
That was
the newer
so
Tomb
boring.
Raider one, maybe
Prince-
Oh, that's
Persia?
true. That one was supposed to be good.
not too bad.
the
So-
newer Tomb Raider movie was decent. I liked it enough that I wrote a blog post about it, which if you
Oh.
know anything about my blog, you know that barely ever happens.
What was surprisingly good, like I had zero expectations for this one because there's zero expectation to have. Battleship. How do you make a freaking movie about C1 hit, B2 miss,
I
right?
still don't know. I didn't see it.
Wasn't it Aliens? Was it Aliens?
It was aliens.
Aliens.
It was
Aliens.
aliens.
They enclosed these ships in this energy barrier and then they have to like use mines like to find it was genius. Like in my opinion, to like if I was someone being handed, here's Battleship the board game, make a movie. Okay,
Hasbro is like, here are the properties we want to make into a movie, and you're like,
right? Not D&D, Battleship. That seems really rich and full of story potential. Forget
Not the things
D&D.
that,
Let's
we
make
have established
Battleship.
stories in.
yeah.
Not the games that actually have a story. The
Right.
one that's a grid.
Yeah.
When Battleship
Well.
the movie came out, I explained it to an undisclosed WotC staffer. I won't say who. And this person just looked at me like, really? Like, oh no.
That's where they went. That's where the money is.
Is Pokemon grown beyond video games so much that we wouldn't consider Detective Pikachu a video
I
game?
was just thinking about Detective Pikachu, but I was debating whether I
that's
thought it was
such
the
a good
best.
question.
I
That is
had
a
the same thought because
good
it starts as a card.
Because it started as video games, but it's such a
Yeah.
huge franchise now.
That is
Detective
true.
Pikachu specifically is a game, though, so I would argue that it is a video game.
Oh, good point. Good point.
That that is a good one too. I have seen that one
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
I liked it.
I like most of it, so I
Yeah.
could definitely see it like in the running for best.
I saw it with my son, which was a delight.
Doom was terrible. That was
Doom
a
was real
bad.
bad.
Oh God, no,
There have
yeah.
been more than one Doom movie. In
They're
fact,
all bad.
and they're all bad.
The Resident
Oh,
Evil
man.
movies aren't the worst.
I like a number of them, but not because they're the best.
They're fine.
They're fun.
My wife really
Silent
likes
Hill.
zombies.
I
and
really
we
like
watched
Silent Hill.
enough Resident Evil
Oh yeah,
movies
some of it wasn't too
that she
bad.
stopped liking zombies. So
So what movie or what game would you like to see made into a movie?
Dragon.
Mass Effect. Sorry.
Mass Effect.
Ooh, Mass
Oh,
Effect
yeah.
for sure.
Make a great
No, I want
movie.
Mass Effect to be a like a Netflix series or an HBO
Mhm.
series.
Mm.
Oh yeah. There's some that just need more breadth. Like you can't-
Halo would be a fun movie.
Halo would be fun.
Fallout.
Yeah, I can't believe they haven't made. They
Fallout.
keep stalling. It's just custom made for like.
Something interesting could be done with Fallout. It would probably have to be like an original story in the Fallout setting
Yeah.
rather than an adaptation of a Fallout game, which could be really interesting, right?
I'd be down for some Bard's Tale. So get a really good snarky like.
Uh,
Sorry. Yeah.
What about Darkest Dungeon?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I can
What
see a
was-
Oh
series.
boy.
What was the one where you played like the evil, or like you're setting up all of the
Dungeon
dungeons?
Keeper.
Dungeon Keeper, yeah.
Keeper. That'd be
Man.
like an escape room, like a fantasy escape room thing.
So this
Okay.
isn't a movie, but I really like Castlevania, the animated series on Netflix, and that's based on a game.
Yeah.
Pretty great. It's also written by Warren Ellis, isn't it?
Oh, yeah? I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So, yeah, like they hired a pretty good writer to write it.
Oh, you know what else I
Mm.
didn't know? The fact that we are 4 minutes away from the recap. Good.
Oh,
Okay. For a second
no.
there, I thought we were past. But now
Oh
we all
man, I
know.
didn't get to talk about the Hitman movie. Oh, I'm so
No,
disappointed.
you
You
still
got
have
4
4 more
minutes.
minutes.
You got 4 minutes to talk about it.
What? I
Go.
didn't get to talk about the Hitman movie.
Let's talk
I'm
Prince
so
of Persia.
disappointed.
Prince of Persia with Jake Gyllenhaal as the
Oh my
Persian
God.
prince.
Ugh.
Hey, okay. So, Uncharted movie. It's a
They're
thing,
getting- Tom Holland's gonna be Nathan Drake.
which is
Yeah.
interesting and
It's weird.
unexpected. And I
Like,
Yeah.
guess
Tom Holland's great, but he's not like tall and rugged like Nathan Drake.
well, I mean, he might be.
Yeah.
COVID has gone on
Man.
for like 20 years now.
I swore it would be Nathan Fillion.
He's
It
cool.
would have been Nathan Fillion if the movie were made 15 years ago.
That's a good casting
Mm.
call. Yeah.
He would have been great. He's
I'm
just
pretty sure they based Nathan Drake on Nathan Fillion,
yeah.
Oh, great. Easy.
but
Now Drake would play him. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know if Nathan Fillion is interested in a big action role like that these days. Maybe. I mean,
He's
I'd
gotta
watch
be like
it.
50 now, right?
I'm sure he is. At
Yeah,
least.
that's old.
Yeah, Jesus. Unless he's aging like a dwarf.
Wait,
Like-
what's he even? And now I'm curious what he's done lately because he had that series with Ellen Tudyk.
The
He
rookie?
did that cop series, but I don't remember what it was
Rookie.
called. Rookie.
The
You just
Rookie?
said it.
The rookie.
Nathan Fillion was born 1971. So yeah, he is 50 years old.
Dang. I need to eat some more chocolate.
Horizon Zero Dawn would make a pretty good movie series.
Oh,
Like,
that
would
is
be-
I
That
just
would be
I
good.
feel
Absolutely.
like there's no way they wouldn't screw it up.
yeah,
Hmm.
probably.
Okay, I agree.
Well, I was watching Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and I
That's a
couldn't
great
remember.
movie.
I couldn't remember the lead flag smasher's name, so I just referred to her as live action Aloy the whole time.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
exactly
pretty
who
good.
you would cast in that film too.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. That show was great. I really liked that show.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's pretty good. And I'm also enjoying Superman and Lois. Like,
Oh,
but
somebody's echoing.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I'm
Here's
having a
some
little echo.
feedback.
Wait,
Who
me?
is it?
Mm-mm.
No,
hello.
I think it stopped.
No, I'm just kidding.
You can't
You're not
test the
helping.
echo by
Hey,
making
Steven.
an echoing joke.
we just breached into another dimension for a moment.
Yeah. Before we get live, Steven, say something. Did you fix your mic issue? You were kind of
I
distant.
think so. Am I-
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the 5 minutes later to do it too.
Oh yeah. Cool.
But okay, not a video game, but Clue is such a good movie.
That is a
Yes.
really good movie based on a board game.
Mhm.
Yes.
I encountered somebody who like went into watching Clue, like I guess not really knowing what was going on. She's like, it was so terrible and confusing. I'm like, no, what movie?
Obviously, the best movie based on a board game is going to be the forthcoming Dungeons and Dragons movie, though.
Not the
Is
old
there a
one.
Dungeons and Dragons movie on the way?
Oh yeah,
So we've heard.
It's been
Yeah,
around
I
for
know,
a
yeah.
while.
yeah.
of
it's
big
been in
names
development for a
attached to
number of
it.
years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Who did they just cast in it? They could just cast some big person in it, right?
Yeah. Hugh Grant is the villain, I think. And,
It's gonna be hilarious.
yeah. And I think what's his name plays Captain Kirk in the new reboot.
Is it Chris Pine?
Chris
Oh.
Pine.
Fine.
Yeah, one of
He's
the
great.
Chris's. Not the least of the Chris's, not the most of the Chris's.
Yeah.
Celdry just suggested a sorry movie. Like that seems hilarious. Just a bunch of people just bumping other people.
Sorry. I think the world's ready for Pandemic, the board game, to be made into a movie. I don't know.
Ooh.
Just kidding. yeah, right.
Betrayal
Oh,
at House
man.
on the
Good
Hill was
recap, isn't
basically
it?
made into a movie. Cabin in
Right
the
at
Woods.
the start of this.
Yeah.
My husband watched 12 Monkeys, the series.
Oh
and he was
my
like, oh my
God.
God, it's so good. You have to watch it. Especially because I like time travel stuff. So I started, and then the pandemic hit, and was like, I'm sorry, I will not be continuing this for the foreseeable future. I can't go. But yeah,
This
a
is too on the
pandemic kills
nose.
like 99% of the population of Earth in the first season. So
Oh man.
that's
yeah.
too much. I can't handle it.
Yeah. Too
Yeah,
much.
that was the same like with and what was the other that president one where everybody got blown up, but there was the designated survivor or whatever. I was like, this is like, I can't, like, the real world politics is so dark right now. I can't watch this. Like, there were just certain shows that I just couldn't handle. I'm like, no, real world sucks enough.
There's a video game that came out recently called Outriders. Has anybody played it?
I've heard of that. Of course, Yang has played it. Of course, he has.
I played the demo.
Yeah.
The background of it, like they talk about the backstory and stuff as you start out the game. And the devs came out and said they wrote this long before the events of this year. But one of the like elements of the backstory is one of the characters saying, quote, when rednecks stormed the Capitol.
Whoa.
And the devs had to come out and say, like, we didn't anticipate what was going to happen in January this year when we wrote these lines.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
We are not referring to any particular. Yeah.
Well, everybody could see where
Don't storm our development studios, please. We weren't referring to you.
All right, friends. 3 minutes till the episode starts. We are going to go to the recap, and we will see you all soon.
Huh. I wonder why my teeth didn't get all jagged and pointy like theirs. So, what was behind door number 1? Well, it turns out the answer to that question was vampires. It's always vampires. Or is it always trolls? This time it was vampires. The irregulars came face to face with another of the Night Mask's strangely named upper echelons. Maybe not the inner circle, but certainly high up there. Enough that this guy had a title. And, well, they were still disguised as Night Masks. Thankfully, the fight with the trolls previously hadn't dispelled that. But it soon became clear that they didn't have quite enough information to pull it all off. Now, there's an argument that the vampire might have been tricked by their little ruse, but couple things. They brought one more person than was actually sent out to do the job. And while they tried to play that off as having recruited someone along the way, I'm pretty sure it got the vampires back up just a little bit. Needless to say, it quickly devolved into a situation where they had to fight for their lives. And fighting against a vampire of that kind of power is no easy trick. He brought a lot of power to bear, and the fight got incredibly intense. But Shiny and the Westgate Irregulars held their own, and when the vampire tried to escape by transforming into a cloud of mist, they were not about to let that happen. They poured enough magic into that cloud of mist to make that vampire's day a very, very bad one, and also his last. And with that, they were at least free to explore the lair of this dastardly vampire. But that leaves us with more than a few questions. Namely, what's wrong with Sarshan? And why would anyone have to protect Cecilia from ruin? Why were the vampires the Night Masks after Shiny in the first place? We still don't have answers to any of this, so maybe we'll find out today. Let's see. Huh. I wonder why my teeth didn't get all jagged and pointy like theirs. So, what was behind door number 1? Well, it turns out the answer to that question was vampires. It's always vampires. Or is it always trolls? This time it was vampires. The irregulars came face to face with another of the Night Mask's strangely named upper echelons. Maybe not the inner circle, but certainly high up there. Enough that this guy had a title. And, well, they were still disguised as Night Masks. Thankfully, the fight with the trolls previously hadn't dispelled that. But it soon became clear that they didn't have quite enough information to pull it all off. Now, there's an